Okay, so we're going to try something a little different today for our Beginner's Corner. Thanks to all of you that have been following Beginner's Corner and have are just starting out in your astrology journey, or just starting out with TOTAMS Astrology journey, because I know a bunch of you can be practiced astrologers, but you're coming to check out the Turning of the Ages Mystery School. So here we go. So I'm going to share my screen. And we are, ooh, it's not letting me look at my desktop. So let's see how we do it. Well, okay, we're going to start with Stellarium. And if you do not know Stellarium, let me be the first to introduce you to Stellarium.org. It's a free software, astronomy software that is amazing, right? So when you're trying to figure out things in the sky and what's going on, Stellarium is a must-have, I would say. And it's free on desktop, and it's not very expensive to get it on an app on your phone, but the app on your phone won't do even remotely what the desktop will do. So I highly recommend getting the desktop version as well. So again, that's stellarium.org. So here we are right now today where I live, right? You can see this January 30th, 4:12 p.m., Aspen, Colorado. And so this is what if it wasn't completely snowing right now, this is what I could look out and see looking to the south, right? The sun is moving towards setting. The moon is up in the sky. We're just past the quarter, right? I'm just looking, we just had the quarter on on Saturday, right? I was just like, was it yesterday? Was it Saturday? It's been like so cloudy here. I haven't been able to see the sky a lot this winter. So Stellarium's been a must-have for that. So here we are, right? If we walk outside, this is it. So here you have the south direction, the meridian line right here. So this is the midheaven right here. So we're going to kind of look how you see the charts in the sky for this Beginner's Corner. Down at the bottom end, which we don't see, and I'll take the ground away in a little bit, is the IC, the north point, and we have east and west, right? So this yellow line, this circle is the ecliptic, the path that the sun takes every day. So I'm going to turn the sun down so we can see what's going on behind. Whoa, right? Boom. So this is what you start to see once the sun goes down, right? Saturn, Venus is in the evening sky. Venus will be the first star, in quotation marks, that lights up after the sunset. And it takes a little bit of time, right? You got to kind of hang out after the sunset and wait for it to get dark enough for Venus to light up. But that'll be the first thing you see. And then Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, I have not had the privilege of seeing with my naked eye. And then we have the moon and Mars are close together, right? Tonight. It's not looking good for me. It's literally like snowing as I look out my window right now. But for the rest of you, I hope you get to see that moon Mars connection tonight. Here's the Pleiades, right? Okay, so I'm going to turn the constellations on, the drawings, and I'm going to turn on the art so it's easier for us to see what they are, right? So here we have the sun in the goatfish here, Saturn, Venus here in the water bear, right? Because at TOTAMS, we call the constellations by I don't know how I want to say that, but the names of what they are, rather than the astronomers using the same names as the signs, because signs and constellations are not the same thing. So it can be like super confusing, right? Because the goatfish they call Capricorn, but the sun is in Aquarius. So that's confusing. So we say the sun is in Aquarius here in the goatfish. Venus just recently moved into Pisces here in the water bear constellation. Jupiter and Aries here in the fish, right? Here's the ram, here's the bull where the moon and Mars are, the Pleiades, Aldebaran, the eye of the bull, one of the 4 royal stars. etc. Here is Orion. There's Orion's belt. And here's the hand of Orion. This is the point. So when the sun moves all the way across the ecliptic over to here is where we will have the March, I was going to say the equinox, and that's wrong. The June solstice, right, is here at Galactic Edge, right, where we look out of the galaxy through. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to turn the ground off and then span out just a little bit. And again, right, so here we have the MC, the midheaven up here, and the IC down here, where the meridian line, the north-south line, meets with the ecliptic, the circle that the sun takes over and over and over again, right? See, Mercury is just set. So Mercury is a morning star right now, because when we spin this clockwise, Mercury is going to rise first, then the sun. Where Saturn and Venus are in the evening sky, because when the sun sets, Saturn and Venus are up at night, right? So I hope you can see that here on this. And if not, again, I'll say get stellarium.org, because it's so awesome. And just playing around with it will teach you so much about the sky. It's amazing, right? Okay, so there was something else I was just going to say as we looked at, I can't remember. Anyway, so you can see the twins had just risen here. The crab will rise next. The lion here with the Regulus, another royal star, will rise later. I'll scoot this up a little bit so we can see the priestess, the scales, and here's the scorpion and the archer, right? So here's the center of the galaxy, the thick part of the Milky Way, where on the other side here is the galactic edge. So this is the point for the June solstice we talked about, when the sun reaches here. And when the sun was recently here, this was the December solstice happened over here. And it's part of why the school is even called Turning of the Ages. But that's a little bit more than I want to get into today. So I just want to look at this and see, right? Sun's about to set. Here's this, I'm going to kind of go back to flattening out that horizon line, and I'm going to put the ground back in. So you can see this point right here and right here, these are the ascendant and the descendant, right? So what is ascending? We're almost to the crab is ascending, and what is descending, right? The goatfish is on its way to setting, the descendant. So now as I switch over and we're going to look at a chart, I wanted to put them side by side, but it's not giving me this option right now. So here we are looking at the chart of the same time, right? It's rolling through on here on Astro Gold, for the astrology software for Macs. We can look and see ascendant, descendant, right? Cancer, the last degrees of Cancer is rising, and the last degrees of Capricorn are setting. Here's the sun in the goatfish in Aquarius, right? Saturn. We saw Venus in the water bear, right? Neptune, we don't see with the naked eye, so that doesn't just automatically show up on Stellarium. You have to go looking for it. But we saw Jupiter in the fishes here near Chiron, which for some bizarre reason is not on Stellarium, even though lots of asteroids and smaller bodies are on there, which is fascinating to me. But here's the midheaven, right? And the home and roots, the IC, the north-south line, right? We have the node, Uranus, which they show, but I haven't seen. And then the moon and Mars conjunct here together, right? Will be happening exactly tonight. So when we're looking at this, the horizon line is this ascendant descendant line, and the north-south line is that meridian line on the chart, right? So effectively, when I look at a whole sign chart, I just rotate this chart in my mind to make that horizon be flat across the sky for me. And then the meridian goes off of that, right? So looking at this, we're just going to go back to Stellarium once again and see how it's all shown. And that's the whole point, right? I'm going to put, well, I guess I won't put the ground in necessarily. So the point of why I'm showing you this is to see that the chart that we look at, that two-dimensional flat piece of paper that gives us all this astrological information, it's really easy to get disconnected from that. Is actually a map of the sky. And that's what we are focusing on all the time when we're doing astrology. And so I just wanted to show you that here. So if you have stellarium.org, or you go to getstellarium.org, you can go and look at your own chart, right? So I'm going to do that here now. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you start, it opens up to all these default settings. You can customize it. You can go crazy. There's so much you can do with that. And a great place is Gemini Brett has a series of videos, which I think we're going to put the link to down below, on how to use Stellarium. So rather than trying to recreate the wheel, we'll just have Gemini Brett's videos speak to teaching you that. But I'll give you a few basics here. So location, I always like to go there first. Okay, so I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yep, I'm an Okie, but I got to Aspen, Colorado as quick as I could. My parents brought me up here when I was a really little girl, luckily. So I grew up here. Nothing against Tulsa. It's so beautiful and gorgeous with the big trees and all of that, but I'm really grateful that I got to grow up in Colorado. So I just switched it to Tulsa. Stellarium can have limitations on towns and places. So if you run into that, a great thing to do is like go and look at, you know, say the city where you were born isn't on their location list. You can go and find the latitude and longitude of yours and then click on these arrows to get you to that place. And then I'm going to turn this custom time zone off. And then then you can add it to the list so that you can look at the place you're actually born. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the date and time window here and put in my birthday. So I was born in 1968 on July 1st at 10:14 a.m. So I'm going to hit this pause button so the time doesn't keep moving forward because we're looking at my birthday rather than kind of the current sky. And I'm going to put the ground back in and put the sun back on. We'll leave the constellations and we'll zoom in here, right? Actually, I'm going to turn the sun off so we can see. Here is, taking the ground away, Regulus. The heart of the line is rising right at the time that I was born. At 29 degrees Leo is my ascendant. Jupiter is very close by at 2 degrees Virgo, right? So you see that here on the chart. The moon is a little bit further away. It's in its waxing crescent because it's moving away from the sun in Virgo here. And then here is this stellium I have of Venus, Sun, and Mars, with Venus and Mars on the other side of the sun in the underworld, which any of you studying shamanic astrology through totems will either understand that idea or learn about it shortly, I'm sure. Can see the Pleiades are not, sorry, this bar is dropping down. The Pleiades are not far from my midheaven here, my MC in Taurus. Saturn and Aries. I have Aquarius as my descendant here, the very last degrees of Aquarius, because most of the water bears in Pisces now. And let's zoom out a little and we can see what else on the bottom. Here is my IC, my home and roots in the Scales constellation, but it's in Scorpio, right? So again, signs and constellations are not the same thing. And that's something that we could talk about, learn about. The old logo for the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School was specifically showing that, like where the signs line up with which constellations currently. So I just wanted to give you a little vibe of all of this. So then I am going to share the chart again, and we're just going to look at my birth chart, right? So here is Regulus, 29 degrees Leo rising, Aquarius descending, Taurus midheaven, which is in the last little part of the bull here, my IC in Scorpio in the scales with Neptune there. You can see this still the stellium of the sun, Venus, and Mars. Mercury is not too far away, right? Jupiter right with my ascendant. So again, one more time, let's go back to Stellarium and then we'll call it quits for today, but just hopefully to see the chart is represented here. And it's really cool once you start diving into this to start looking with like, well, what is Regulus about? And how does that inform part of my life journey? What does having Mars, Sun, and Venus all here in the twins mean for me? Or having the Pleiades close to my midheaven mean for me, right? All these kind of things is just ways to, one, get to understand how to see your chart in the sky, because when I go out at night and I can see the twins, I go, oh, wow, this is where Mars, Sun, and Venus were at the time that I was born. So anyways, we've gone a lot longer than I even meant to go today, but I just wanted to give you a taste of Stellarium and going and looking out at the sky to find yourself and your place within it. And to remember always when we're looking at the flat two-dimensional maps that really we're looking at a map of the sky. So wishing you well. Thanks for watching today. And maybe we'll make more of these videos, but we'll connect again soon. Bye.